Hello, everybody. Hello to you and yours, and welcome back to my space. Once again, I am Onamakoko Manganye, and as you may have it, I am not alone. I wanted to get up, but it's fine. I am not alone. I'm with my lovely companion. This teddy bear, when I tell you that this teddy bear has carried me and has made my cold nights warm, you better believe me. So I'm with the teddy bear again. And yeah, as you may have known from the previous episode, I am reading Paulo Coelho's 11 Minutes. Love it so much. It was a gift. I'm going to keep on saying it because it was a lovely gift. It was a gift from, a gift from a special person. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. So far, I've been loving it. It's very sensual, very. It's Paulo, man. He gets your mind activated, and he's gotten my mind very activated, and I am loving it down. Okay. And I decided that, you know what? Maybe let me have a series of unpacking my thoughts, right? When I wake up or whenever like I'm alone in my spare time or whichever time of the day and I feel a thought, being constant in my mind, I'm like, okay, maybe I need to unpack this, right? And what better way to sit and also just record and vocalize so that I can also go back and trace my thoughts around that certain topic. And today, I may not have the exact words and I may not have like clear vocab and language, but I'll try my best, right? What I wanted to talk about today, what I want to talk about, what I will be talking about today is how it has been like to grieve an expectation, right? Essentially, mourning something that you hoped for, something that you believed for, something that you planned for and dreamed of, and then it didn't happen. What then do you do now? How do you familiarize yourself with the reality of it not happening, having lived in your mind, especially when you're like a person who practices faith a lot, like I do? I believe for things, right? I trust for things. And to a certain degree, I also include a bit of, manifestation, not like sitting down deliberately and manifest something and be like, I'm manifesting, but I just believe for something. And I truly believe that what you imagine in your mind and and the life that you picture in your mind, that you envision in your mind, the more you enhance it, like with your thoughts, with a lot of prayer and faith, you are basically creating it to become reality. Now, what happens when that reality that you've pictured and envisioned in your mind comes crumbling down right in front of your eyes? Nobody prepares you for that. Like, nobody tells you that because you don't want to seem like you're coming from a place of indifference whereby you're like, yes, I'm trusting for this, but even if it doesn't happen, right, that eradicates the whole purpose and the whole concept of faith. Like, really, what are you doing if you are going to accommodate this like unbelief? So I wanted to talk about that. Let me have a sip because one thing about it, I speak so fast and I be dry, I be thirsty. um So nobody prepares you for that. Like, nobody tells you that it might not happen, although there is a sense of knowing that it might not happen, but that's not a thought that we want to, operate from, especially after and like deliberately saying that you're trusting and believing for a certain something, right? And that the things that we grieve, they don't have to be like people all the time. Yes, we know about grieving people, mourning people, the loss of a loved one, and all of those things. Oh my goodness, excuse me. And a lot of those things, but grief is not only grieving the things that we see, right? It doesn't have to be physical, it doesn't have to be tangible. It can be an opportunity, like I may have said in passing. It may be a future that you thought of. Maybe you've applied for a job and you've prayed, you've trusted, and you've cried for it, and then something in you even tells you that it's done, it's yours, and then you wake up one day and you're basically being rejected and you realize, good to know, it's not happening. And although it's like people may be like, ah man, nothing happened, get over it, like, or there's even no expectation for you to be mourning and grieving that opportunity that you may have lost. But to you, something internally did end, something that you hoped for, something that you had made attachment to really did end abruptly, and that is valid. And for me, most of the times, the problem is not always the thing not happening, right? The problem is trying to bridge the gap of what I thought would be and the reality of what actually is. Okay, so let me bring in just one instance just to, substantiate what I'm saying. Sometime last year, coming into the new year, I applied for this job, right? And not because of unhappiness, but naturally because of wanting to grow in my career and all of those things. And when I tell you that everything in me felt like that job was mine, I could feel my mind preparing, I could feel my body preparing, I could see myself in the place, everything felt like it was aligned, right? And then into the new year, very early into the new year, I received feedback. And did I receive feedback? No, I didn't receive feedback. It was just one of those applications whereby they're like, if you have not heard from us in 8 weeks or something like that, consider your application unsuccessful. And that's what happened. I did not hear from them for however duration that they had specified, and that meant my application was unsuccessful. And when I tell you that, it ached, like from the bottom of my heart, it ached, right? So now what I was struggling with was breaching the gap of what I thought would be me getting the job that I want for, that I believed for, and that I trusted, and I had attached myself to this job, not from a place of pride, but from a place of desire. I would say this is a job I'd like, and what are the chances that you'd write down like the job spec of what you want, and then the next thing you wake up and you realize here's a job of that same specifications, and there is no way you're not going to believe that job is yours. So I had made some attachments to the job, and trying to bridge the gap between that and the reality of my application being unsuccessful, continuing being where I am. I struggled a lot. I struggled a lot in the first few months of the year. I know we're still within the first few months, okay, but now we're going closer to, the half mark of the year. But the first few months, maybe let's say January, Feb, those months were so hard for me because I was like, oh my goodness, why? It felt like a loss. It felt like I'd lost something huge. And what hurt even more was the fact that I couldn't speak to anyone about it because people would be like, ah, man, it happens. Not everything is yours. Not every opportunity that presents itself is yours and valid, right? It's not always mine. But I wasn't crying from a place of everything is supposed to be mine. I was crying because I was in grief. I was crying because I was mourning an opportunity that I believed for myself, right? And that has been one of many instances, because like dating back to like high school, right where I am right now is nowhere near where I thought I would be right now. And I've had such a tough time trying to bridge that gap, to be content with where I am, with what I have, with how my life is, without being, complacent over the fact that it's still not where I wanted to be or where I thought like I would be. And I realize now that I may say to myself that, oh, be more gracious to yourself, be more kind to yourself. But another thing subsequently that I'm realizing from that is that I could not have been more kinder to myself without having to first admit that I am hurt by my reality. I am hurt by, my current. No, I don't want to say I am hurt as if something is painful. It's not painful. There is a bit of disappointment. However, it's very positive. Also, I don't know why I'm struggling to put this in a way that, truly is that. I'm trying to say that at a certain age, maybe like 19, 20, I saw myself somewhere doing certain things at this age that I am, 29 this year. And although right now I am grateful for my life, I am content with the things that I have, it still doesn't take away from the fact that it's not what I thought for myself. Doesn't look like what I thought my 2026 would look like, right? And yes, things don't always go the way we want them to, and to a certain degree, I write these quotes per day in the morning, and today I quoted a song by Benjamin Clementine, and it says, we can do the best that we can, right? But nothing is guaranteed. And I wish that at that age, I was told that, Uguti, you can do and you will do the best that you can. But that future that you're aspiring for, the dream that you have, is not guaranteed. It's not impossible, but it's not guaranteed. Because I lived the rest of my life, I don't want to say with expectations, but with hopes. And you wake up one day, you sober up your mind, and you realize that no, it didn't happen. And now I've had to live in constant grief of trying to merge what I hoped for and what is, to make the best of what can possibly be from those, two different dimensions of my life, because it still is my life. I will still carry those thoughts. I will still carry those dreams with me, because they carried me for the most part of my life. They make up most part of my life. And now that I'm here and it's nowhere near that, I need to find a way for these two people and these two dreams to coexist. And now I'm just like, how do I do that? How do I do that? How do I bring my mind and my heart to adjust peacefully to this new reality that doesn't look anything like what I imagined a couple of years ago? No, many years ago, right? And yeah, I think that's the journey that I want to embark on, like bringing my mind and my heart to adjust to this new reality of my life, which is right now, if we disregard the past, right now my life is very beautiful. I'm happy, I'm blessed, and I'm grateful. I am, and I am content. But I still had dreams still. I was still 19 years old. I was once 19 years old. I was once 21 years old. And at that age, God, and at that age, I dreamed of something different. I can't deny that. I can't invalidate that. And I can't disregard that. I just have to make peace with what right now actually is. And yeah, man. Yeah, I think that brings me to the end of this video. YouTube culture. Don't forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe. Tell your friends to tell their friends, hopefully their loved ones too, that we're having nice conversations. And just tell me what you have had to grieve, an expectation, something that you expected, a hope that you had, a dream, or an opportunity. Let's talk about it in the comment section. Thank you so much from me to you, with love.